I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And as I call the meeting to order, I'll read, we have a stop time of 12 o'clock. All right, just thought I'd give you a heads up. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as the measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For Zoom meeting information regarding the remote participation, please contact Cindy Knox, IT Director at cknox@ayer.ma.us, or call 978-772-8252, or Alicia Hershey, Community Development Program Manager at ahershey@ayer.ma.us, or call 978-772-8221 prior to the meeting. All right, thank you. Go ahead, and I'm going to call the attendance. I've got Ken Diskin, present.
Ken Diskin here.
Okay. Karen Swampelt. You got to unmic yourself.
Karen Swampelt, Council on Aging.
You got it. All right. Looks like Ron Morrison's not here. And because they accepted Sarah's resignation letter last year, Sarah is here as a resident. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Okay. All right. On general business, I want to go ahead and, first, I'm going to have someone approve the agenda? Can someone make a motion to, does anybody see any corrections or updates on the agenda?
I'm good with it.
Okay, want to make a motion?
I'll move that we accept the agenda as written.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. All right. All right. And then next we have to approve the minutes for December 18th, 2020. Are there any corrections, omissions, edits, comments? Okay, can I get anybody to make a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written for our meeting on December 18th.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Got it. All right, looks like we now have Ron coming in. Oh, thank you, Christopher. All right. All right, so Ron has now entered, so we now have all four current members present, which is great. We've got a section here for public comment and questions. I'll just say that we haven't had any emails come through that have been sent to me or Alicia. And I know that I've spoken to certain individuals within town, but that's going to be coming up later on. Is there any type of, Sarah, do you have anything that you'd like to go ahead and talk about now, or you just?
I don't have anything. I'm just here listening,
Okay.
supporting you. So
Thank you. All right, no problem. Okay, next on the agenda is the Housing Trust bylaw. I know that I sent you all the copy that we worked diligently through that one last meeting. A couple feedback items with regards to the questions. I think the Housing Trust is a town entity, and it even states so on section 11 of the bylaw, where it says it's a public body for purposes of the general open meeting law from Mass General Law. So it doesn't have to have an open meeting law, but I've got Robert looking for specifics on executive sessions when they start discussing finances of certain individuals and such. I know that I sent you some of the minutes and the agendas of one of our neighboring towns so that you could see on how when they discussed dollar amounts, it was kept as general as possible, saying the community came forward looking for, all in total of $12,000 for rental assistance, but it didn't break it down. It just gave, a dollar amount. So it had something within the minutes, but then they did go to like executive session to go ahead and look at each single application by themselves. So did you guys all receive the stuff from Sudbury?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see what I'm talking about on how everything is all broken down?
Yes.
All right. So I know that was one of the questions. And then the other one was regard to the annual audit. And I haven't heard back. Alicia's not here. She's not feeling well. So with that, again, it's still on top of everything else. It's still winter time and you still get colds and whatever. So, and I'm trying to think on, I think those were pretty much the two major questions from what I remember. So is there anything else with regards to the bylaws that people had questions or concerns about? Karen's shaking her head no, just for those who may be on the phone. Ken?
I thought we covered it pretty thoroughly the last time, and I feel confident that, you take the next step now. Go to town council or go to select board, whatever the step has to be.
I think that's the next step, as well as I'm going to be discussing with everybody the possibility of having a public information session at the end of February.
I was going to reach out, so Alicia didn't have anything then herself, or I was going to even ask Alan Manoyan, I guess, but I never talked to Alan. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I haven't heard back, but I'll make sure.
So
I know that, go ahead.
if all those professionals are good and we're good, I guess we move it on.
Okay. All right. I don't think we need to, take a vote on it. Just trying to think here. Yeah, and let me go ahead and I'm going to put it to a vote just to be sure. Let me have a motion to accept the bylaws as they are, to bring that forward to the next step, which would be to the select board and to, I'm going to say, other departments that would be affected by it, to have this go forward. Can I hear someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the bylaws for the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust to move forward for the next levels of completion.
All right.
Second.
All right, Ron?
Second.
Great. All right. All in favor?
Hold it. I want to make it,
Go ahead,
usually
Ken.
it's time for discussion after the motion.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know, did her motion include the word draft? It's a draft at this point, right?
Okay, no, it did not.
All right, I'll put the word, got it. So accept the draft bylaw
Okay.
to go ahead and move forward to the next step.
Mhm.
I'm going to second that again.
Sure.
Second.
Okay. All in favor to move the draft forward for the next step?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Aye, chairman says aye, so excellent. All right, that's great. I'll go ahead and do that. Next on our agenda is the Housing Trust itself and the Board of Trustees. With our discussion last week, I've got emails that have gone back and forth. Again, these have just been names that have been suggested, and people who have come up to me, come up to Ken, come up to Alicia, and I believe Ron, of saying that they might be, interested. So let me just go through the list. We've got,
Well,
Go ahead.
can I just interrupt?
Sure, Ron.
After I spoke with you before, I've decided that maybe I'll just stick with what we have.
Okay, I thought you said maybe Pat would be interested, or no?
Yeah, Pat might be interested, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll be honest with you, Ron. I've kept you on the committee. I don't have you on this list.
Good, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. No problem. I've got Pauline Connolly, Jeff Tillotson. Connie Sullivan was brought to attention with Alicia. Steve Wenzel, because of his interaction with the homeless within the town. Again, we really haven't spoken to these individuals about it, and the next segment will tell you why. Vicky Hill and Victoria, and that came from Ken. All right, Pat from Ron, Pat Bagney Latimer, Sean Copeland, because of him being on the board, on the select board, Nick Lagasis, and Kevin Horgan, and those two last ones also came from the Community and Economic Development office. So, I mean, we've got a good list. I don't know if anybody has anybody else. I know that I'm going to be speaking with Cindy Lavin from Stone Soup on Tuesday next week to go ahead and discuss some possibly another individual. But
There was one more.
go ahead.
I believe it was Betsy Diskin.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm sorry. Excellent. All right. And again, this is suggestions so that we have a list, and we'll ask these individuals if they are interested, and if they are interested, we'll be able to present this list to the select board. So it's not saying that they're on it. It's more of just, again, to give them a list of more than 7 individuals, possibly 9, so that people could also become alternates. And the reason why I wanted to pause and say I really haven't spoken to any of these individuals is because as I pulled over on the side of the road to speak with Nick Legacy, I was sort of like stopped, because you need an elevator speech. Exactly when you're talking to somebody, you need to go ahead and say, okay, this is what I'm asking you to do. And with it being a short little snippet, I tried my best to come up with, again, what I call an elevator speech. You want something that's about 30 seconds long, or maybe 30 to 60 seconds. So this is what I came up with. Tell me if I'm far-fetched. The Ayer Affordable Housing Committee's created an affordable housing trust with monies from the Community Preservation Fund. The Housing Trust is run by 7-member boards of trustees, and its administrative tasks are going to be handled by the Community of Economic Development, but the board's not going to meet less than 4 times a year. Affordable Housing Committee does the prep work for the board to ease the decision-making so they can focus on the affordable housing requests that will be in front of them. I try to, but I don't know if that really covers everything. So I've got like all these little things of what the Affordable Housing Trust exactly is going to do. I mean, the bylaw is way too, too verbose. But it's sort of like the Board of Trustees. Hold on, let me just do this. Let me share.
I had a little, I did a little more of a sales job with my presentation.
Go ahead.
I prefaced, first of all, I thought Alicia was going to give us a copy of the form that's used, the volunteer form.
I couldn't find it on the website.
Yeah, it's okay. So we got to reach out and get that, I guess, because they need to fill that out, I think, be
Well, that's
qualified.
the whole thing. Yeah, I want them to fill it out. And also too, I started on a other type of questionnaire. Um,
Okay, cool.
all right. I don't know. Can you guys see the volunteer opportunity?
Yep.
All right.
I thought the important thing in the discussion that I had was to start out with the fact that the town is moving towards and trying to create a way to really step up and get something done about affordable housing. So people are typically interested in doing that. You know, we want to make an effort to step up and do something, and this is the first step. We got the bylaw changed. We got some money from CPC. And I think it's a noble task to try to serve on a board like this.
Correct. I do agree. Any other, any other feelings?
In, how
I
can
think we
put-
can get more people if we just keep reaching out, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What about somebody from the public service, like a member of the police department or the fire department, who, they see a lot of things going on in town that we don't see.
Well, I can go ahead and reach out there as well. Like I say, I think if we get something that, again, a nice little snippet, and maybe this is where Sarah can come in, to do one sheet paper of saying, this is what the Board of Trustee pretty much is, what exactly the Board of Trustees will do, something like here. I don't know if you guys can see all this. Let me scroll down here.
Looks good.
To take something like this, put it in, again, as a single flyer,
Yep.
just so that people, when you talk with them, hey, here, this is what we're looking for. We need 7 members, and would you be interested? And to be able to talk about it a little bit. And not only that volunteer form that's supposed to be on the webpage, on the website, but I'm wondering whether or not we also want to, when somebody's interested, again, I know we talked about this, to almost have them do a type of resume, or, maybe even a questionnaire to say, like, when I was starting to look at it, it's like a questionnaire to say, what do you think the housing crisis, is there a housing crisis in here? Is there, what do you see as being the housing crisis? Sort of like give them multiple choices and whatever. So I generated too long of a questionnaire, but I started coming up with different things. And find out, do we want to find out a little bit more of, again, do we want to know what their occupation is? Are they retired? I don't know if we want to go that deep of, what education do you have, what age you are in,
I think one of the other things too, Janet, in putting this 7-member board together, I think that one of the most important qualifications, because some of those names that came up, I really sparked my attention, and I thought, they can bring so many different things to the table. But I think the bottom line is everybody needs to understand why this is so critical. And after sitting through the last 2 classes for the 40B yesterday and last Thursday, these people that are working on all of these things out in the city, there is no label for people that need affordable housing with these guys. It is so cool to be watching and listening and learning from all of these people that have been working, DHCD, HUD, all of them, engineers and planners, and they've all got this positive attitude about affordable housing. And it's not that old stereotype of, we don't want those people in our town.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get to a real level of positivity, and taking this class has really put me over the top with the way people look at the way this should be looked at. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I wish I took it. You and Ken took it, right? Those
Yes.
classes?
I mean, Ken, you understood more of the terminology than me. I was just getting that positive feedback that you never used to get talking about a 40B. I really was like, wow. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
Are
Well,
we gonna talk, are we gonna talk about that later in today's meeting, maybe a little bit?
I'm hoping that we can.
Okay,
All right. So what, let me just throw this out, because like I said, we're supposed to have a stop time of noon. With that, let me generate some ideas of throwing something together for a single sheet.
Yeah.
And with that, then at least we'll all have the basics of what we want to talk about. And again, we can move forward and speak with, some of these individuals.
And what these individuals can bring to the table.
Right, exactly.
Not,
Yeah.
I think you all know what I'm trying to say.
Mhm. Yep, you got it. So does that sound like a good idea to go ahead and have like a little one-page snapshot of what we're attempting to do, of making sure that we've got our focuses on affordable housing within the town of Ayer?
I think that's a great idea.
All right.
You're not talking about one page including application, are you?
No,
Yeah, okay.
no, the application would be separate. All right, and like I say, on the application, I'll make sure that it has some of the questions of, do you really, Ayer, I mean, to say Ayer has a critical need for affordable housing, that people do need rental assistance and such.
Well, I think another good point, and we can move on from here. When you have firefighters or police officers, or such as I have a staff member here that drives an hour and 10 minutes because she can't afford the prices in our community, we aren't keeping our people with roofs over their heads locally. And I think that really needs to be out there. People need to know they're working, they're making a living, but they can't afford to live in Ayer. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, no, you're right. And like I say, that's one of the questions that I do have here.
Yeah.
That people who work in town have access to affordable housing.
Absolutely.
It's like, all right.
I guess one question you could ask on the application was whether they rent or own in the town. Maybe we should have, make sure we have a blend of people who rent and people who own on the trust.
Okay.
I don't think you need to get into much more than a short resume and their interest, and just rent or own, and doesn't really have to be much more than that, I don't think. And then put it before the select board, and they can do the interviewing and get more information if they need to, I guess. We're trying to get a list of candidates, right? That's our main goal.
Yeah, list of candidates, but make sure that they're viable candidates, that they're interested in what they have to bring, as Karen says, bring to the table. All right. All right, so what I'll do is, like I say, I'll generate something, send it on to you guys, and we'll be able to put it together, because we want to try again. May is the town meeting. I thought I saw something in they did something with regards to the warrants or whatever, or town election. I thought I had it on my calendar, but I didn't write down.
Janet, the town meeting is April 26th.
Okay.
The last Monday in April. It got moved.
Okay, April 26th?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so again, we're gonna need to have pretty much everything locked down by the end of February. I mean, when I say that, it's like with the bylaws, we're gonna need to, because the bylaws will have to be really completed Because if it's going to be on the warrant will be finished by the end of March. So, so like I say, we'll have pretty much a busy February and beginning of March. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that together. The next thing on the agenda is the rental assistance program. I don't have anything really to update the group about. Again, that was something, with Alicia having what her requests have been. She didn't give that to me. We just moved on to the housing production update because I wanted to make sure that we get that housing plan update for, to move us forward. And there is a new individual in the MRPC, the company, the group that helped put this draft together. So what they're going to do is they're looking at the new survey data from 2019 data to bring it more up to snuff, up to closer period. And they're going to have a draft by February 5th to be able to be presented. And with that, if you notice, the upcoming meeting is going to be on February 12th, February 12th at 10 o'clock, not the third Friday. It's going to be that pretty much second Friday, I think it is. Really, let's see, I've got to move this. Yeah, the second Friday, because we'd like to take that housing production plan and present it to the select board on the 16th during their meeting. So with that, and I don't, does the planning board have it's not a joint meeting, is it, on the 16th with the select board?
A joint meeting with the select board?
Yeah, I know, she wants to go ahead and be able to have the meeting on the 12th, so that we can present to the 16th to the select board. And I just didn't know if there was anything else going on that day. So again, I know I skipped over for that, but I think it would, again, it's nice to have that document updated with more current information, so I understood where they were coming from, and to be able to do that. So we're going to have our next meeting again on the February 12th. So if we have the meeting on the 12th, and if we do get the bylaws going to the select board on for the 16th, and because again, the draft bylaw, and they give us feedback, I'd like to be able to try to have a meeting sometime at the end of February where it's a public information session at night. So I'm looking at individuals, what your schedule is for the week of the 22nd. The 22nd is Washington's birthday. So I don't know if there is any other time available between the 23rd, 24th, or 25th. I think you might have a planning meeting, Ken.
Whatever you need, I'll make it work. Don't worry about it.
All right. Ron, I know your time is tricky, especially at nighttime, because I'd like to try to have it at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay.
What
Ken?
what was the date again? I'm sure I can try to make it work too.
Well, February 23rd, 24th, or 25th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Okay, so I just got my little calendar phone out here. So meaning the planning board meets on the second Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday. So we'll be meeting on the 9th and the 23rd at 6 o'clock. Don't the selectmen meet on the 1st and 3rd, which would be 2 and 16?
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. So like I say, if the draft goes to the Board of Selectmen on the 16th, If they come back with feedback,
I see.
all right, then, we can share the feedback at a public information session. I'm just trying to think, and unless,
The best date may end up being the 24th because
Wednesday.
the
yeah,
Board of Appeals is the one that normally meets on Wednesdays, and they do it in the middle of the month, on like the 17th, I believe, something like that.
all right.
So,
How about if I go ahead and plan on the 24th at 7 o'clock? And the agenda items pretty much would be on how the Affordable Housing Committee is going, how we're looking for the Housing Trust, again, feedback on the draft bylaw, let people know that we are moving, forward. Pretty much just give a recap instead of having a meeting, just an information session on how, again, this committee and the Housing Trust is moving forward.
yeah,
Works for me.
good.
All right,
Okay,
all right. 7 o'clock. So I'll get that in motion. So I'll send everything over to Carly and Cindy and see if we can get that date locked down. All right. Like I say, I know I skipped over a couple things, but I think I wanted to hear about these training sessions, the classes, because they were done by, is it CHAPA?
Yes.
And that stands for,
Tappa.
that's okay, community housing.
I got it. I had to write it down, so I
ahead.
wrote it down. Citizens Housing and Planning Association, which is apparently something we should know a lot about because it's a huge resource for information.
Huge.
Yeah. I know I go to their website often, but I don't, know what the acronym stood for. And I've wanted to go to those meetings, but we've been down staff, so I ended up taking some overtime.
Oh, so you did not go, Janet?
No, I
Oh.
did not.
Okay.
I do apologize. Yeah. I thought they were going to be taping them so that we could go ahead and re-review it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we can gather all of the materials that they've been presenting, all their PowerPoint presentations, a lot. Yesterday there were a few in the beginning that were a little overwhelming for me. I'm sure, Ken, they weren't for you. But we can gather all that information once this is over, and Marisa keeps giving us all of what we need. I think I'm saying her name correctly. The one that oversees putting this together. So, no, that we can get our hands on all of that information. But
that would be,
it's not being taped.
okay. That would be great if we can share it amongst the group here. All right, whatever, you can find, and I can double check with Alicia to make sure that we can go ahead and get that.
Mhm.
So you want to discuss a little bit of the session?
I could give you the first thing that happened last week, which Karen I think will agree with, was it fascinated me that it was more of a planning board discussion last week than it was an affordable housing discussion. They talked a lot about the technicalities of, planning and whatnot. So it was kind of wish that the planning board had been given a chance to hook on as well, but it didn't come up. And yesterday they went into another really, really important. I thought yesterday was fantastic because
Yesterday was awesome.
it was about design. It was all about design and laying the project out on the site and making sure that there's no element. I think the attempt is to make sure that there's no element of the project that makes it look different than what the area you're trying to fit it into. You can kind of concur with that, I guess, Karen. But where most of the discussion was by a professional architect who works as a consultant, and I'm not sure if Karen was aware, but the Judy Barrett, who was the first one they talked to in the second, the longest part of the meeting, she's the same consultant that worked for the town of Ayer when we changed our zoning bylaws recently. So
Nice.
yeah,
I
so
didn't
she
know
has done,
that.
you didn't know that probably.
No.
So you guys would have now found seen the consultant that worked for us to develop some of the zoning changes that we put in effect in 2018 when we changed the whole zoning bylaw. I first met with her when I first got on the planning board because that was just about to happen. And I wanted to make sure I knew a little bit about it before I went to town meeting. So Judy Barrett was one of the keynote leaders of the second round, the big long round yesterday. So it looks to me like another positive is that if and when the town gets one of these applications, which could be soon, clearly we could reach out to those consultants because at least we have some names now, and maybe our professionals know already. You know, maybe people in town may know it already. It was pretty amazing what effort was be put in to make sure that a project would not look like it was sticking out like a sore thumb, is what I'm getting at, and would really be suitable for the town.
I was very, very impressed with what they presented yesterday. And I mean, I'm considering myself a newbie with all the terminology and the layouts and, whatever. But I'll tell you, there was such positive energy for these projects, the projects that are in the pipe, as they said. Did I say that right, Ken? In the pipe?
Yeah.
And I mean, they took us through projects that I just was like, wow, this can't be too high because we don't want that blocked. And this over here has got amazing. It's not what I thought I would be listening to as far as learning all of the ins and outs and how to put this together for a town. It's a lot of work.
Oh my God.
Oh.
The thing that was interesting was the number of years that these people have been working, because it's been around. They told us in the first session a little bit about the history, and 40B is 50 years old now. I can remember talking about this way back, and I had no idea it was 50 years had gone by, but it's 50 years old. And then they listed in the first session how many units have been built. Might have been 70,000 units, I think,
Yeah.
Karen, something like that,
Yep.
around the state. So it's been a successful project, but yesterday pointed out again the time it takes if you don't have the whole team together.
Right.
And the fact that there are continuously appeals. People are always having the wrong attitude about it.
That's it right there. And that's what's costing the contractors and everybody else money. That one company that gave so much back to be able to create this, I can't remember, it was Walpole. I was looking at what they gave back to the community in order to make this happen. And I'm like, wow, this is the way people need to work.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're talking like that, this is going to sound terrible, but I just know when MGM came into Springfield of what they gave back. But look at, in certain ways, MGM is a business, right? And what it does is being a casino and everything. But this is affordable housing to go ahead and allow people to go ahead and live in the community where they work. And it's like, so
keep our business going.
That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I was most impressed with, or not, I was impressed with the whole thing both times, was Ayer being where we're at right now. And just speaking about the property up across from Shop and Save. The distance between where that property is in location to our train station, it's almost like all these little pieces here in Ayer are just sitting waiting for this to happen. Am I right, Ken? I mean, that's how I felt listening to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to coin a term on the planning board and same thing applies to everything you do with land planning. And I don't know why this just dawned on me, but a week or two ago, but we really need to take a look at the big picture every time we look at something and connect all the dots. I think one of the biggest problems that happens when we started yesterday, Karen, is when a plan comes in, it only delineates the area of the new work. But you need to look at the whole community that's involved with that piece of work. And that's what they taught us a little bit about yesterday,
Yeah.
is how they reach out beyond the site to get connectivity and to figure out the, whether there's going to be a community benefits and how it all connects and whatnot. And that's a problem with presentations by engineers. Is, let's face it, they're only paid to work on the site that they're looking at. They can't be paid to look at the whole town. So as boards, we have to think bigger than, and I think that woman from Brookline was mind-boggling. The professional planner from Brookline was just
awesome.
unbelievable how good she was, and how they connect all the phases of the development and the thought. And it applies to, it doesn't matter what development is. It can be anything. It can be a new grocery store to a 40B development.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it was kind of more planning oriented sometimes than it was affordable housing oriented.
Well, in the first session, I was blown away. I can't remember the gal's name. She was the planner in Salisbury.
Yeah,
Now,
she was great too.
She was unbelievable. But I've seen
Lisa
these
Pearson.
projects. I had no idea. They
I
are
wrote her name down.
yeah. And I'm going, wow, this is just, if with the right team and the right people. Oh my, it's what I believe in.
Yeah.
I think the other, I took one of the really important things that hit me yesterday. The gentleman who was leading was this gentleman, Ed Marchant, who'd been around for like 40, 50 years doing this stuff. He's all these people are credentialed. They all they teach at Harvard design, and they teach the School of Design at Harvard or MIT or someplace. It's unbelievable. But he made a very important point that we're building 40Bs, which contain a component. This is important for Mr. Morrison will know this, that contain a component of affordable housing, but we're building 80% of other type of housing. So if 20% is affordable, 80% of market rate. So it has an impact on all housing in a town, in all the count that we have in the town. So think of the thing, if you turn the equation around and say, wait a minute, what's the best use of that 80% of that land or 80% of the development, and how does it become the best deal? The affordable housing blends right in. Don't think of it as being a detriment or anything. Think of it as being a whole picture. It was great stuff.
It's good stuff. I'm really glad we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, quick question. I mean, Ron, the new buildings that they've created over in Shirley, the affordable housing units that are there, they're doing that in it's the ones on Hospital Road. They've got not only affordable, but they've also got the market rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did one of those projects a few years ago in Chelmsford. Very similar to that one. Small lot, and I forget the percentage at that point. I think it was 20%. Worked out very well. It's been a project where they initially, the price has now, they're up to about the market rate ones in that development are in the 400 to 500 range now. And they came in at, I want to think it was 175,000.
Oh my God.
So those people have done fairly well. The affordable, and initially the town didn't want it, obviously.
Right.
And, as you said earlier in the meeting, the attitude is never positive, almost never positive from people who have no clue what it's all about. But, affordable, I think people are very surprised at what the affordable housing rates are, and how much the houses actually are and how much somebody can earn. I mean, I would say at least half the population that we see buying houses in town would qualify, renting or buying.
Or buying, yeah. And I think it goes back to our first discussion of little a, big A, what people can afford and what actual people are earning here within town, to say, hey, you meet the qualifications, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
Right.
So
a lot of people are surprised when they realize they're qualified.
yeah, no, it's true. So Well, one of the things that Karen wanted me to do is we do need to have some sort of information session about this 40B at the flag property. Now, I don't know whether or not at the evening meeting on the 24th, we could also lump that in of saying this is something that we're looking at, and maybe, you know, when's the next session? Is it next week? Is it one week?
Next Thursday.
All right, next Thursday.
the
What
28th.
what might be good is if we can, sort of like come up with also, I mean, I can look on some of their, the website, but is it possible to get like a single page information, of what, but you know what I'm talking about? Is like, what it means, to, when you say that we're talking about a 40B, what it means to have affordable housing. I mean, again, correct me, affordable housing doesn't always mean 40B.
Right.
Okay. So with that, again, continuing what it means to have affordable housing within the town intermixed within market value housing, so that you've got the availability of both within the same type of complex. And from what I gathered, this is what, that property over at Flag, they want to develop over there. So maybe we can include that within the agenda on the 24th.
I'm not sure what stage they're at right now, and none of us have seen anything. So I'd tell you that I think that's premature.
Okay.
That's my own opinion. And the reason for that is because there's such a lot, and we found that out yesterday as well, but I think if you hadn't, I do have a little experience doing the research, and the company I work for, we proposed a huge 40B in Sharon, Mass. And so forth. So I'm a little familiar with it, but there's a tremendous amount of preliminary work even before they confirm that they're going to do it. So I'd say we're premature that way, and let the professionals at Town Hall figure out the timing for us and whatnot. But
Okay. All right. I'll make sure I give that feedback to.
I agree with Ken. I mean, what they're presenting to us, we had people that have 35 and 40 years experience, and they were only given 25 minutes, and they did a fantastic job presenting, but it was like, there's just so much. But I agree with what Ken said. Now we've got people and faces we've seen and we've listened to that I think as we're moving forward and we're growing, we could really tap into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. The not the least of which is just the fact that this 40B is really designed to benefit the people coming into town to override, some of the regulations. It doesn't preclude that they're not going to comply with everything, but they gives them some advantages zoning wise. And I think the thing that's going to be important for the town, I'm not talking about this board necessarily, is determining that the applicant and their qualifications and their history are going to show that they have the credentials to do the project, and they have to be qualified by all kinds of state agencies to do that. So at the end of the day, they're going to be qualified.
Yeah. And you're talking about the developer itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
There's going to be a lot of time to get involved with this along the way.
Who's got their cell phone going on?
Excuse me. But
All right. Go ahead, Ken. Sarah, I saw that you had unmuted yourself. You've got some
I'm in the
comments?
room. I got to get right back to you.
No, go ahead. You got to unmute. You got it.
Am I good?
You're good.
I think there's something to let the town departments do their job, but this is a big process. Like, I read Alicia's, the documentation she sent us a while ago, and anything that anybody can do to communicate the process to the residents. It's nerve-wracking to get, they've started to put this out that this is coming, so that's helpful. I know if I received notice of this like the day it was submitted, I wouldn't be happy. But we just don't assume that everybody understands the zoning board process.
They don't. I don't. I'm learning.
I think this is what I read, that it's 30 days they can submit, and the town has to give notice to the resident, has to give notice and have a public hearing within the 30 days. And then there's 180 days that the zoning board process
It
can
was a
go.
whole 30 slash.
We went through that
50
chat
slash-
yesterday.
Yep, that's what we went
Yeah.
through yesterday.
Well, it's important, you know?
Long.
Yeah.
Yep, there's a whole, I was blown away, but it is a long process. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I say, if you really haven't seen anything with regards to, what this developer wants to go ahead and do. I think it's more of, again, I'll check with Alicia, but to make individuals aware that there will be some, they are looking to do some sort of affordable housing complex over on Fitchburg Road there, on the flag property. However, it's just in the beginning stages. So as things progress, it will be made available, via like the zoning board and such. So keep your eyes tuned for those types of meetings if you're concerned about it. I think, it's not to delve further into it because there's nothing to delve into. There's no plan or anything. It's again, when people start saying, okay, great, how you doing? What are you going ahead and doing as an affordable housing committee? Again, the economic and community, the community and economic development office has been working with a developer, and we're seeing how that progresses.
Mhm. Mhm.
One of the things that was very evident yesterday was the fact that in the zoning board of appeals, just like a planning board or a conservation commission or any other board that has to make a decision on a proposal or plans, has the opportunity, and would undoubtedly do it, reach out to third-party consultants, peer review. So they talked a lot about that yesterday, and one of the architects that spoke does a lot of that work. So it's not, in some towns, they don't even have, they don't have a community and economic development office. They don't have a town planner. They don't have professionals. So the consultants basically take the job for the zoning board of appeals.
Mhm.
And I would say that that's going to be a fait accompli, that the ZBA would have to reach out to third-party consultants for a project that's anticipated to be that big.
Mhm.
And they would defend the town's position as the third-party peer reviewer
Mhm.
as
Like,
well.
yeah, and I think Karen, mentioned it earlier that it seems like, here in Ayer, we've got a lot of things already in motion. I mean, with everything that was done on the zoning bylaw and such, that we got a great momentum going of making sure that we can take care of the residents within this town.
Mhm.
So compared to some of the other towns that were at the meeting, this is what I'm gathering.
That was
and
the feeling I got. The first session, when it was all done, I sent an email back to everybody thanking them because it was so well done. And I called Alicia immediately after, and I thanked her for, knocking on my door for this. And I was just so excited because Ayer is in the forefront with, wow, we've got that. Wow, we've done that. Wow. And I felt like that's all I did the first session was go, wow, we're doing okay out here. Am I wrong, Ken? That was how I felt.
Yeah, it was interesting that last week, talking about the same subject, a gentleman who had been in this business for years said that there's no town in the state of Massachusetts that has, as of right, and I'm not sure if you guys know what that means, but it means you're entitled to do it without any special permits or any other discussion, as of right location that allows multiple family housing without, going through some kind of special permits. And he was incorrect in saying that. I called Alan the next day to verify that, in fact, yes, our form-based code that we did a year ago does allow
Yep.
multifamily as of right. So it's interesting that he made a statement, and we had just changed our zoning to allow, multifamily as of right in a certain location of town. And the other thing that happens, you remember the beginning of the meeting yesterday, she said that about a few days ago that there was a new bill that was signed to change a very important bill was signed apparently a week ago, an economic development bill. Ron may know about this, but it changed some of the regulations in what was required to make a zoning change by taking it from some things that had to do with affordable housing from a majority of 2/3 majority down to a simple majority.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of changes, and they also, it's interesting, they continue to add, making it easier for towns to develop areas that are within a half a mile of a train station. And all
wow.
this stuff applies to the town of Ayer, either by pure luck or just because geographically that's how it's located. But
Yeah.
it's interesting that our town does have zoning regulations that are in place to comply with
Excellent.
what's talked about at these meetings.
All right, that's good. We'll talk about, time and everything else like that. We're gonna have to wrap it up.
Actually, can I just ask one more question? And
Okay. Yeah.
is there any way that you could ask Alicia or the town of Ayer to outline the expected process, like sometime in February?
The process for, like, say, this property on
For a
Fitchburg?
chapter, for the flag property or for a chapter 40B in town. They've had one.
Okay.
They almost had one in 2019. They had one
Who was
in
the
2000
almost?
What?
Which one was the almost?
What?
Which one was the almost in 2019 that you talked about?
The Ayer Greens? Ayer Green near the hospital? You spoke at the hearing.
That was never going anywhere. That was just a red herring.
Well, and they did their process. But anyway, I mean, they know what the process is. They developed it using the Chapter 40B law. I'm just like, if they could
Okay.
share a little bit. But the other thing, and they had one in 2004 with the Willows.
The
Okay.
Willows is good. Yeah.
I'll be gone today. Thank you for your time.
Oh, no, don't, please, Sarah. Okay, but I know we just have to cut it short, or not short, but we had to stop it.
There'll be another meeting, I'm sure.
Yeah, there will be. February 12th at 10 o'clock. All right, and like I say, right now, February 24th at 7 p.m., I will try to get that. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
right.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. All right, guys, thank you very much, and we'll make sure that we get it right at 10.
You know where I am.
I know.
Thank you.
All right, no problem, Cindy. You got it. Guys, thank you very much. Take care.
Everybody have a great weekend.